Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Picture this. It's the mid-1860s, and you're riding through the harsh Arizona desert 20 miles east of what would become Yuma. The scorching sun beats down mercilessly as you follow the meandering path of the Gila River. Suddenly, you crest a small rise and see something that stops you dead in your tracks. 3 lonely chimneys standing like tombstones against the desert sky. Welcome to Southwest Desert. I'm your host, Alan, and today we're diving into the incredible tale of Gila City, a settlement that went from non-existent to a thriving metropolis of 1,200 souls and back to nothing but ruins, all in just 7 years. This is a story of dreams, gold fever, crushing disappointment, and the raw power of nature itself. Our story begins in early 1858, when a solitary prospector named Jacob Snively was working his way along the banks of the Gila River. Snively was one of countless fortune seekers shaped by California's legendary gold rush, but unlike many content to chase played-out claims in overcrowded camps, he had his eyes fixed on the largely unexplored Arizona territory. On what seemed like just another day of backbreaking labor, Snively's pan revealed something that would change history for this remote stretch of desert. Glittering in the black sand were unmistakable flakes, and nuggets of what experienced miners would later describe as rich placer gold. The Gila River's seasonal floods had been working as nature's own mining operation for millennia, concentrating precious metal in the gravel bars along its banks. This wasn't gold locked away in hard rock requiring expensive equipment. This was alluvial gold, loose particles that any man with a pan, a rocker, and determination could potentially extract. Word of Snively's discovery leaked out gradually through informal networks connecting mining camps throughout the Southwest, eventually reaching California's mining communities and triggering an extraordinary migration eastward. What happened next was breathtaking in its speed. The settlement mushroomed seemingly overnight, appearing as if by magic where weeks before there had been nothing but desert silence. The location was perfect, situated directly on the Gila River, providing essential water access for placer mining, with flat terrain offering space for the sprawling, chaotic development that characterized frontier boom towns. By December 24, 1858, Christmas Eve, the U.S. Postal Service formally established Gila City as an official post office, recognizing a community substantial enough to warrant federal attention. The architectural evolution told the story of a settlement expecting to stay. Canvas tents gave way to wooden shanties, which were eventually replaced by adobe houses for the most optimistic residents. At its peak, Gila City housed approximately 1,200 souls, making it one of the larger settlements in sparsely populated Arizona territory. This wasn't just a camp full of muddy miners. The community developed a sophisticated economic ecosystem including merchants, service providers, and skilled craftsmen. The economic data from Gila City's heyday reads like a prospector's wildest dreams. Individual miners reported daily earnings ranging from $30 to $125, figures that were absolutely staggering in 1858 to 1860 America, when typical laborers in eastern cities might expect to earn $1 a day if they were lucky. For those lacking skills or equipment to prospect independently, Gila City offered wage labor at $3 per day plus room and board, triple what working men could expect anywhere else in the country. The demand for labor was so intense that employers couldn't afford to be picky about experience. The mining operations themselves were systematic and intensive. Every accessible stretch of riverbank, every gulch that might have concentrated gold-bearing sediment was explored and exploited. Miners turned the landscape inside out, using whatever tools they could improvise when proper equipment wasn't available. What made Gila City particularly attractive was the low barrier to entry. Unlike hard rock mining requiring significant capital investment, placer mining could be attempted by anyone with basic tools and willingness to work. The river had already done the hard work of breaking gold free from its original matrix. The business district was remarkably comprehensive for such an isolated location, with merchants providing about everything from basic necessities to luxury items. However, certain civic institutions were notably absent. No jail was ever built and no church established, indicating that economic priorities far outweighed social or spiritual concerns in this transient community. Like all gold rush stories, Gila City contained the seeds of its own destruction. The very accessibility that made placer mining so attractive also meant deposits could be exhausted relatively quickly. The transition from boom to bust wasn't immediately obvious. Merchants continued reporting thriving business, and miners still found enough gold to justify their presence. But experienced prospectors began noticing subtle changes. Claims that had produced consistently good returns started yielding less. Each miner was essentially making individual calculations about whether to stay or move on. Some held on longer, convinced one more good day would compensate for disappointing ones. Others, perhaps more realistic, began quietly making plans to try their luck elsewhere. The factor that ultimately doomed Gila City wasn't just local gold exhaustion, but new opportunities elsewhere. In 1862, fresh gold discoveries were reported at La Paz on the Colorado River, offering the irresistible combination of untapped mineral wealth and easier transportation access. The migration from Gila City to La Paz represented the mobile, opportunistic mindset characterizing frontier mining communities. These weren't people with deep roots. They were professional fortune seekers viewing geographic locations as temporary bases for extracting wealth rather than permanent homes. The exodus wasn't sudden or dramatic. Population drained away gradually as individual miners and families made personal decisions to seek better prospects. First miners left, reducing demand for goods and services. Then, merchants and service providers followed, unable to sustain businesses with diminished customer bases. As if economic collapse wasn't enough, nature seemed determined to write Gila City's final chapter. In 1862, the same year many residents were abandoning the settlement, catastrophic flooding along the Gila River swept through the community's remnants with devastating force. The timing couldn't have been worse for recovery hopes. A thriving community might have rebuilt after such destruction, but Gila City was already economically hollowed out. The flood simply delivered the coup de grace to a dying community, nearly obliterating remaining structures and serving as a final, unmistakable message that their time was over. By the mid-1860s, just 7 years after Snively's discovery, Gila City had been reduced to 3 chimneys standing alone in the desert. These solitary sentinels of fired brick and stone represented all that remained of a community that had once housed over 1,000 people and generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in mineral wealth. The selective survival of these chimneys reflected frontier construction realities, while canvas tents and wooden shanties were quickly destroyed, and adobe buildings eventually succumbed to elements. Fired brick chimneys possessed durability to outlast the communities they once served. Gila City represents far more than just another failed mining venture. It's a perfect microcosm of boom and bust cycles characterizing American frontier development, particularly in the arid Southwest where communities depended entirely on single extractive industries. The settlement's brief existence illustrates the remarkable mobility and adaptability frontier life required. The same people who could build a functioning town from nothing in months were equally capable of abandoning their investment when circumstances changed. This flexibility was both strength and weakness, enabling rapid response to opportunities while preventing the stability necessary for long-term growth. Today, visiting Gila City's former site reveals little evidence of the dreams and dramas that played out there. The Gila River continues its ancient journey, indifferent to human hopes that once clustered along its banks. The desert has reclaimed most traces, leaving only scattered artifacts to mark where 1,200 people once called this remote corner home. The next time you see an abandoned building or ghost town marker along a western highway, remember Gila City and the thousands who bet their futures on Arizona desert gold. Their story is our story, a chapter in the ongoing American narrative of risk, reward, and the eternal search for something better just over the next horizon. Join my Patreon community and discover my art print products on my website in the links provided in my description and link above. Also, if you would like a particular image from my videos, give the timestamp for image and I will upload it to my website and Patreon. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman, Alan, for another Southwest Gold story. Check out my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists on historical tales, legends, lost gold stories, and adult bedtime stories. If you like a certain image from my videos, tell me in comments and give timestamp. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.